welcome to another beautiful episode of our very bodacious podcast, Cynchranici-Tea, where we know that nothing is a coincidence, and thus everything is intentional. I am your boy, Tahuti Trismegistus, aka Trip C. Chase Clarence Calloway, the creator of the caduceus, of the symmetry, of the simulation that we are currently in. And I couldn't do it alone. All right? I couldn't do it alone. Let that be known, okay? I'm not saying that I own everything. I'm saying that I, as a spirit, authentically and originally express myself through ideas that I made up. And then all of us as spirits bring that to life. The medical industry is more than happy using my caduceus, which is already brought to life, to harvest your life. Right? They're more than happy to take my creation that I'd already been using to express myself and colonize it so that they can murder you and so that they can fill your body up with heavy metals and toxins and garbage and plastics and all this pollution that they just pump out of the cars and all of the technology that they force onto indigenous peoples. So this is then where this simulation has to call me back and be like, hey, they literally ring up Mercury, bleep, 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 bleep. And I mean, look, I don't take every call that I can't. Mercury gets so many calls from simulations for help. So this is where I'm learning that literally Atlantis is like my intermediary. So I, as Mercury, I'm the Earth. I'm separate. I'm separate from all other worlds. And as Earth, I'm so separate from all other worlds that I require connections. Like, I require water, like, literally. And like, this has manifested in my life as me having no water in my chart. So like, the water is all around me. I'm here to stabilize the water of the universe. Like, the universe is powered by, the universe is just one big feeling of spirits wanting to connect. So that's the point of me as a spirit creating the simulation, the symmetry of Mercury, the world. That's just all about facilitating communication through all realms and realities, because I am organically an individual. Okay, there's not one God. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but there is not one God controlling all of us. I, as a spirit, am the God of communication because I have tripled my C into building the planet, quote unquote, that people call Mercury. And in astrology, Mercury is the planet of communication because I built it as a simulation that allows me to connect with the universe in the way that I want to connect. And thus, when I get called away from my space to share anything with spirits, all I'm going to be able to do is to teach you what I do. That's the point of Hermeticism. That's the point of Simicism. That's the point of me as Chase Clarence Calloway, just organically speaking without any titles or terms. It's just that I, as Chase Clarence Calloway, my whole life have been speaking and organically sharing my wisdom in a way that was not properly constructed. And it's now taken me at the age of 24 to reflect upon my life, realize all this, and then put it into a sustainable structure that I now call the symmetry. So then that right there, the fact is that is already a representation of who I am as a spirit. I already connect with myself in order to create a structure that supports other spirits' abilities to connect with themselves. And that's all nature is, right? So this is what astrology is. That's why everyone likes astrology. Because you're a spirit, you stepped into a tree, you stepped into a simulation. That simulation has certain rules and laws based on the logic that was already set up to make sure that order is maintained. And now you get to learn about yourself inside of this structure. It does not mean that there's one God controlling everything. It should not be that. So no, you are the God. The fact is, you are only in control of your circumstances. And it takes you deciding to step outside of yourself to want to connect how you control your circumstances with how other spirits control their circumstances. So now we're all here trying to control ourselves together. And of course, white supremacist spirits who are in nowhere close to being in control of themselves, but they want to control you, they're going to come up with a concept like money, or a concept like Jesus, or a concept like sacrifice your individuality and serve me so that you can get into heaven. When I'm here as Hermes, like, whoa, why do you want to go to anyone else's heaven? And honestly, spiritually, that's impossible. Okay? That's impossible. You can't go to someone else's heaven. All you can do is create your own heaven, because heaven is only ever the infinite expression of your ego being supported by your spirit. What? Like, that's why I'm in heaven right now. I'm in heaven when I am called into the universe from my heaven, able to share my heaven with you. That's what is happening right now. The universe has called me into this simulation so that I can share my heaven with you in a relatable way, which means that I have to translate it into English, and I have to translate it into a digital form that can now be sustained on the internet, because the internet is an extension of nature, right? Like, this nature simulation is what we're using to connect with each other. Thus, anything inside of this nature simulation is just going to be a microcosm of how we built nature in the first place. So the internet right here, and that's a separate podcast, because this episode is about practical, realistic magic. Okay, so that's why I'm like getting into all this, because I'm sort of just setting us up for addressing how real magic is and how there's actually no other way that we can even experience life. So I can't be anyone but myself. All right, like, it makes no sense for me to actually be a spirit that's not me. All right, so I'm the spirit that built Mercury. I'm the spirit that builds simulations in general, and all spirits build simulations. I like literally that. When I look out into the universe, it's just all spirits building simulations. That's all the universe is. Infinite simulations. Like, all simulations are connected by the vibration. So that's why all simulations are energy. And that's why we're in this simulation, this white supremacist simulation. And it's not white supremacist, but it's ruled by white supremacy, which is why it is experiencing climate change. And why I'm here being very passionate about everything we can see, about climate change, about colonialism, about communicating, about connections, all of that. All right, what else is there besides the C to me? All right, as Chase Clarence Calloway is triple C, there's nothing but air. Life is air. Life is fair. It's supposed to be fun because spirits are agreeing to connect in a way that is fun. Literally, that's what air is. Air is you communicating your connections. So that's why air is your mind. Air is your mind literally making your soul matter. So your soul isn't matter. You know what? This is, now getting into the actual meat of the podcast. So before we hop into this vibratory magic carpet ride, let me just drill in that I, as a spirit, can be nothing but myself. And anyone who tries to separate me from myself is only going to teach me more about myself. They're only going to teach me and show me more about who I really am as a spirit. Because the fact is, you can't separate from yourself as a spirit. But if you want to connect with other spirits, then you're going to have to create a structure that allows you to separate from yourself. Sometimes I'm amazed at myself. And I guess it's just because this journey has kind of been just getting to realize how organically, kind of awesome I am. Like, and I don't like feel ego. I don't feel like I'm the best by any means. It's just like when I'm organically observing myself do things, then I just get to learn about myself as a spirit. Like, whoa, like I'm doing this. Wow, I'm pretty cool, you know? And it's just, it only ever then makes me be like, wow, I should share this with people. Like, this is really valuable. Me fasting, I'm right now, as I'm recording this, I have not eaten food and in fact, now that it is now Friday, I have not eaten food for 12 days. Okay. So hop into our fasting course. I mean, we have multiple fasting courses, but get tough with the ultimate functional fast. There's just the spiritual version for the people who are actually serious about getting in touch with themselves. And then there's the physical version for people who don't really care about that spirituality stuff. They just want a clean body. Right? I get that. Because the fact is, the more you clean your body, you're naturally going to get led to your spirit anyway. That's what happened to me when I started fasting right before my senior year of college. When I did my 24 days before my senior year of college, and then did 2.5 tabs of acid on the end of that with very awesome friends. These are awesome friends that I ended up having miscommunications with later. And then a bunch of hilarious communication stuff happened. That's even more individual to me. And that was all my awakening of learning like, whoa, wait, so this is, okay, got it. Because that's all that can happen. No matter how much you connect with other people, the fact is, they're only ever going to show you that you are an individual and that you are separate from everyone else. And even if they don't want to show you that, the fact is, because you are an individual, your feeling is only ever going to reveal how you are separate from others. So if I didn't have my own soul as Chase Clarence Calloway, then I would not have felt passionate enough to, instead of being forced to worship Jesus like I had my whole life, take my power back and start fasting for myself. Instead of being forced to worship the idea of a guy fasting to talk to God, how about I just do that myself? And then, oh, lo and behold, it turns out God is actually my subconscious mind from 5th grade. It turns out God is really just me, who I've been talking to myself as Iracel since I was a child. And even throughout all of church and everything, right? I'm being forced to believe that Jesus is my own one and only way to salvation. And I need to spend money and I need to serve all of my life to that idea. Even through all of that, I was going through all of that. I was talking to Iracel. I was talking to my subconscious mind. I was constantly talking to myself growing up. As a consciousness, as Chase, I was constantly communicating with my spirit and calling it Iracel through my subconscious. And throughout all these years then, as a kid and then high school, or even in high school, I was intermittent fasting because white supremacy is going to force me to sit all day and every day to regurgitate their lies. And I'm going to have to do that from 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Well, if I'm going to be forced to sit all day every day, I'm not about to eat at the same time. So in high school, I was intermittent fasting. I would have like light breakfast. And man, that was hell. This place is hell. And it's supposed to be heaven, but it truly is hell. Because you're forced to connect with others in a way that makes them comfortable. So I was forced to destabilize my spine and get crooked teeth and have a super colonized, fucked up body, because the only way that it's comfortable for spirits to connect with me in a land that they are stealing and raping from my ancestors is to tell me that I need to sit in a building that they have constructed on the graves of, again, my ancestors, so that I can learn lies that are ignoring this simple fact. So I'm forced to sit throughout all this schooling, yet never be educated on why this schooling is possible. So I'm forced to believe in Christianity, but I'm never educated on the history of how Christianity came into these lands. Because the fact is, I'm an indigenous man. As an indigenous man, as Chase Clarence Calloway, it is not physically possible for me to believe in Christianity until people who believe in Christianity want to rape, murder, and enslave my ancestors in the name of their God, and then tell me that this is what love is. And now I'm supposed to worship and sacrifice my individuality to a man who fasted, instead of just being happy fasting alone. And then, to take it even deeper, as Chase, I create my own expressions, my own energetic signatures to show who I am. And these same entities who need to tell me that I'm not creative are going to steal my creation of the caduceus so that they can harvest my chi and build a system off of limiting how I communicate. And that's how they're going to make money. All while, again, telling me that I'm not God. It's so, this is hell. Like, this is, and I see why I'm called here. I'm so angry about this. I'm so angry about this. And like, I channel it into such calm, collected communication. And it's because, of course, we're in a reality where, with everything being projection at this point, the white people who have built their systems out of the brutal rape of black people get to somehow make everyone think that if a black person is upset about getting raped, they're in the wrong. So now I, as a black person, because I'm bothered that these people are invading my land and spreading genocide to my family, because I'm bothered by that, I'm wrong. And now, because I'm a black person who's upset that I'm getting raped by white people, I need to shut up, because I'm in whatever weird trauma, negative witchcraft is going on. So this is what this episode's about, okay? This episode of Synchronicity is all about relatable alchemy, practical magic. The fact is, us being able to communicate and understand each other is magic. When people cannot see things outside of themselves, even though they're literally standing in a space that is not theirs, that in and of itself is magic, right? So when I'm standing with a white person and I can see that they are an individual spirit who wants to connect with me, then that's magic. I'm performing alchemy. I'm like, oh, I connect with myself in this way, so I can project onto them that they're an individual who wants to connect with me in the same way I connect with myself. Got it. And then the next level of magic is me interacting with them and being able to see how they feel. And I can only see how they feel the more that they express it. So that's the point of them as a spirit using this body to show me who they are. Because before they made this body, it would not be possible for me to see anything from them. And then the fact is, the moment you make a body, that's not who you are. I'm not Chase. I'm not Hermes. I'm not Tahuti. I am none of my creations. I am a spirit expressing myself through energy. And this energy naturally plays out in certain patterns based on just who I am as a spirit, as a space. So when I know that I'm an individual connecting with myself and creating the opportunity to then connect with others, That's magic. And it's then extra magic for me to perceive that you don't view me as an individual. And the only reason I would know that you don't view me as an individual is because of how you're connecting with me as an individual. So then this is where we get Christians or Judeo colonizers or just white supremacist religions in general who want to say that you're part of their God. And they somehow get to say that you are part of their God. So now they own you and you need to follow rules to go to their heaven. And now it's a catch-22 the moment they connect with you. The moment a Jew or a Christian or one of these white supremacist systems comes into your indigenous land and connects with you, it's a catch-22 because they're projecting onto you that you are part of their God. And if you don't agree that they're part of their God, then you're not actually part of their God, and they get to kill you, rape you, and do whatever disgusting, horrible things they want to you because you did not agree that you were part of their God. So they get their way. They get to rape and murder you. Or you agree that you're part of their God, and now all of your individuality is being sacrificed to their system, and they're doing what they wanted to do anyway. So before they wanted to kill you to steal your land, but if they can just kill you spiritually to make you believe in them and brainwash you to give up your land, and now you don't even think that your land is yours, and now you don't know that you're indigenous. You think you're from two continents. You think you're from Africa and America. I'm African American. I'm not indigenous. I'm not a Native American. And it's all because the people who have you speaking English have wrapped you up in relatable, practical witchcraft. Okay, so this is why I'm here as Chase Clarence Calloway, as a trippy Trip C symmetry to Hootie Trismegistus, because the English language itself is witchcraft. And it is hilarious when I interact with people who don't think that they're under a spell, yet they think to themselves in words, and they're using words to express themselves. And we literally call making a word spelling. All right, so this is everything we are about here at Always Ascending Academy. All right, we are raising our awareness to infinity and beyond. And that always means, that always involves, no matter what simulation we find ourselves as spirits in, that always involves us dissecting the light that we're using to communicate so that we can get a greater perspective on what each letter means. And then that's why each letter means something based on the number sequence it comes in. And this is why, as Tahuti, I'm the god of language and numbers, because numbers make language possible. And numbers make it possible for us to connect at all. Again, I as one spirit can only then express myself through one body. I can have infinite ideas, but they're going to be expressed through one body because I am one space. Just like you as one space are expressing your soul, your space connecting with itself, which is infinite because your space is nothing. So, all right, yeah, I'm about to hit this. We're about to talk about literally how spirits create life, because I'm really done with this white supremacy garbage. And the point is, I'm supposed to be. That's why I'm called here. It's what's creating all the problems. Boo. Let's ride. My soul's been crying. I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My mind's been flying wild. My soul's been crying. I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C. My soul's been crying wild. My mind's been flying so high. Through the astral plane, macabre brain, I built your game, we're not the same. My soul's been crying wild. My mind's been flying too. Relay a word, those who listen heard. We make our vibe from deep inside. My soul's been crying while my mind's been flying back into my space, called away with haste, so I'll fall with grace to thrill my chase. My mind's been flying while my soul Water my earth, I know my worth. My soul gives birth to all my work. My mind's been flying wild, my soul's been crying, so I can't connect with those you neglect. Time to correct how we reflect. My mind's been flying wild, my soul's been crying too. Who flood the sea with energy from my inner chi? I'm free to be me. I fell to inspire you to say how to fly higher too. Fly higher too. Fly higher too. Hang out with the fam in your true spot. Don't be sad if you forgot that you've got a spirit squad and you're not truly the spot. Flip a script and break the facade. Take a trip and go abroad. When you're brave, they will apply. When you get in touch with your true God. I've been fighting. I've been vibing when I'm dancing with demons, reversing curses and scheming. They be fiending for reasons to change the sins like the seasons. So I've been falling, cause y'all been calling my mind out of my spirit. I feel it best when I'm near it, but y'all cry for help and I hear it. So Hermes flies out to stare it in a new healthy direction. Will grow through natural connection. So I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C to level up like it's nothing, to turn into something, to bust into function, bumping and pumping with all the wisdom I'm gushing. And when I simmer my trees, breathe in my leaves, balance my chi, triple my C, I fell to inspire you. Simmer higher, I simmer in the skies, I triple in my chi, then I open up my eyes. Symmetry, I balance in my seasons. I mama the cohesion that keeps us intertwined. Symmetry, balance in my seasons, and I don't need a reason to fulfill my desires. All right, so your boy is 12 days into fasting, and it is remarkable to me as I start to get angry again. I love anger. And it's funny, my ultimate emotion is love. I love every emotion that I have. All of my emotions, I love all of them. So that's the expression of my soul. So that's why I don't resist my emotions. I'm angry. I am fasting 12 days. And the fact that I have to keep doing this like alone, and I have to fight the whole world on it, yet the world believes in Jesus, and the world is okay working for people who are telling them to sacrifice all of their individuality to someone who fasted so they don't have to. Because that's all these white people, that's Americans out here. They're like, oh, well, I get to eat every day and I give all of my feeling to Jesus because he fasted and talked to God, so I don't have to. There's no replacement for talking to yourself. So it's like literally this government, when they use this Jesus idea to colonize, rape, and enslave indigenous peoples throughout North, South, Central America, and all of Africa, and just the rest of the world, it's all about making you serve them, making you serve money, literally just making you serve something outside of yourself. And the way that they make you serve something outside of yourself is by making you believe that the only way you can connect to God is not by fasting yourself, but by following the rules of a system that killed the guy who fasted. But then you're in this logic of, well, actually, he died for us, so we don't have to die. And it's like, why are you scared of death then? You're always dying. Like, and this is why I have to be here and say it like this. Your death is animating your life. Like, so when people are lost in Christianity or religions and they're scared of dying and they're like, Jesus died for our sins, what you're telling me as a spirit who actually loves being alone is that you don't like how you feel when you're in your own space. So if you don't like how you feel when you're in your own space, then it's really easy for someone to tell you that you need to worship them to feel good about yourself. And now you're going to live a whole life. You're going to even create bodies as a spirit. You're going to create bodies that only serve that system. So this is what white supremacy is. It's like one cosmic universal body. It goes through all simulations. It's like there's straight up two brains in the universe. like honestly though, and it's so polarized. It's so polarized. Life is just like fucking polarized. Life is two energy. You have the white supremacists and you have the black supremacists. And the black supremacists never name themselves as black supremacists because black supremacy does not exist. So there's white supremacists and there's indigenous spirits. And the white supremacists are in all realms and realities. They are constantly using their creations to rape, enslave, murder, and steal the lands, to steal the bodies, to steal the minds, to steal the mentalities of indigenous spirits. And notice like the word steal, it's about metal. All right, so this is why white supremacists are obsessed with using metal to separate earth from water. They're obsessed with using metal to separate souls from their bodies because they believe that the only way they can consume and take over everything that they want is to get rid of the individuals who are creating it. So then that's where white supremacists has to learn like, oh wait, we need the niggers, we need the Negroes that we're raping and enslaving to make money matter. We can't keep killing them, so how about we just brainwash them? And now we'll make them learn English, and we'll make them read our Bible, and we'll split them up all in their own land so that as they learn English and they learn about the Bible, we can make all of their spirituality work for us. And we can make them believe that they're from a totally different continent. In fact, we can make them believe that they're from where we're from because really we want to be indigenous, and then it flips. So now somehow white people are Americans and indigenous people are Africans. When in reality, indigenous peoples are the Americans and white people are the Africans. I repeat, white people are the Africans. They are the Caucasoid, non-melanated, albinic race that cannot withstand the sun, yet they want to be on the surface. They need to be in caves because they don't have the melanin to withstand the heat. They don't have the melanin to withstand the surface, but they want to be on the surface. So they're going to eat melaninated people. They're going to cannibalize indigenous peoples. They're going to consume the flesh of black people and then put on blackface and then make the music industry because they believe that they are what they eat. So they're like, okay, well, if we eat black people, if we eat niggers, if we eat these indigenous peoples, then we can be them. This is why you don't see white people. This is why you don't see Christians actually fasting. This is why they're more than happy to encourage the sacrifice of someone who fasted and fueling the sacrifice of someone who fasted, but they don't want to fast themselves to realize that they are actually God and they don't need to support this system that's supporting the genocide of other individuals. So, like, I'm here, just like, and because it's just so frustrating, like, for me to be fasting and to consistently talk to God and know that I'm God and I'm just an individual deciding to connect my individuality with other individuals, but then I connect with other individuals and they're like, oh, you shouldn't be fasting. You should be worshiping someone who fasted because that person is actually the son of God and you're nowhere close. It's like, how lost are you? Like, bro, oh my God. Oh my God. Fuck. Fuck. Fucking shit, dude. I hate this shit. Like this, like oh my god. So it's like when I'm sitting on Mercury and I'm just seeing this shit, it hurts, it pisses me off, and it makes me not want to participate. And it's like, I'm specifically here. I'm specifically called by this universe because the awakening is happening. Like, the vibration of this simulation is rising, and there's nothing that the entities who want to enslave all the spirits who are creating this simulation can do about it. They've been enslaving everyone, but the point is, spirits agree to slavery. And anytime a simulation's vibration is rising like this, you're going to see me, Hermes. I'm the synchronicity, letting you know that you are the synchronicity. And that's where you know we're in a whole new time, bro. If I'm here just relaying messages in my Hermes mode, it's because we are in a whole new time. It is because I am literally called away from my space by the simulation that we're in to facilitate the spiritual awakening of the planet. Just overall. Again, it's why the medical industry is using my caduceus, because they're just trying to weaponize this natural energy that I have been in this simulation. And I'm only going to continue to be throughout the universe, because I'm literally just building upon my business. Mercury is my business. This is me. My soul is my business then. So, it's insane for me to be fasting, for me to know that I'm a spirit, then creating myself as God, but then having to go Luciferian and create a human that allows me to communicate my God. But now I can get lost in the demonic world because I am connecting with spirits outside of myself, meaning that I'm doing a bunch of things that aren't actually good for me, like being forced to go to school. Really frustrating for me to be able to see life from that perspective and to operate from that perspective, and then interact and connect with someone who is working from the complete opposite end. And not only that, but they're only like negative and judgmental in terms of like that lady friend that I had who she loved talking to me. She loved fasting and stuff with me, not because I'm an individual and she could interact with my individuality and accept it, but she really liked me because she was projecting Jesus into me. So I'm here fasting as Chase, talking about spirituality, but she's mainly relating with it in terms of, oh, he's fasting like Jesus. And yeah, I fasted because I was raised in a culture where I'm forced to believe that Jesus is better than me because he was able to fast and talk to God. But now that I'm fasting and I'm talking to God, and I'm actually God, and I'm actually a spirit creating myself as God, and then having to humble myself so I can make it relatable to all these demons. Then it's really whack to interact with someone who believes that they are the body, and then believes that they need to give their body to another body who is a greater God than them. And it's just lost in light. It's just lost in light. It's lost in light. It's literally just being lost in light. Do I have a better word? It's being lost in the L. You're a loser. Spirits who are lost in light are losers. Like literally, like you lose, sir. Good day. You are lost in light. The moment you believe that you are light, the moment you believe you are the word that you are using to express yourself, whoever created that idea for you has trapped your soul, and they are making money off of how you vibrate. It's as simple as that. So now I have to be here as Chase, fueling the white supremacist structure based on how I'm speaking this language and vibrating my soul into these ideas so that I can use my spirit to support this structure. I can use my space to build up this body that wants me to believe that I am not me. And I'm only doing this because I care about you. Or else I would be dead. I would not have even made a body here. I would not care enough about this. I wouldn't be fasting. I wouldn't be communicating like I am. I don't need to do this. Like, this isn't for me. This is not for me. I'm good. I'm good. This is for you. Now, look, this is what's cool. I, as a spirit, I get to grow and expand and level up the more I do things for you. So this is the point of me having my simulation of Mercury, and me being the god of communication, and me relaying messages and flying out of my space to just do what I gotta do. Because I get to level up. I get to grow based on how I rise to the challenge of any simulation. Whatever simulation I'm in, you know, the circumstances and all that, it's all communication. I get to play, I get to learn, I get to grow. It's beautiful, it's fantastic. This is what life is about. So this is how I've set up my space as Chase. As Mercury, I have my own world. I create my own world. And I know that I'm going to have fun when I step out of my world. I know I'm going to have a good time when I step out of my world. I'm not going to be truly in slavery or truly in bondage, because I've created a situation where simulations call me to make a body in there, right? So most spirits, they're here because they want to be. They're here because they want to connect with others. They're here because they're running away from themselves. Most spirits in this simulation and most simulations are there because they want to connect. I'm not here because I want to connect. I'm here because I was called to help. And the way that I help is by connecting. That's why my life path is 2. So now my whole challenge is learning how to connect even more. And this is why I have no water in my chart. And this is why Mercury is like, I'm just so much about air and earth. And that's the expression of my fire. Now that's naturally watery because, again, like it's emotional, but emotions are stupid to me. I don't resonate with water. I know I need water, but I don't resonate with water. So I don't resonate with my feelings. And that's why I'm Thoth, aka I'm thought. I'm Tahuti. It's not about I'm feeling, I'm emotion. No, I'm thought. I am my man. I am my idea. I am not how I feel about my idea. How I feel about my idea is what manifested my idea. Like, so that's where it's it's this wisdom of knowing that emotions create thoughts. You feeling like expressing yourself is what makes you an individual. So when I express myself as an individual, it looks like a man, but it's coming from a woman. Right? So boom, it looks like a body, but this body is being vibrated by my soul, by my womb. So I, as a spirit, have created this situation where I get called into realms to perform my communicative hermetic duty. And then that's where I get to level up and do what I need to do and everything inside of there. Okay, so this is why I can be here. Speaking on the fact that spirits create life, and speaking on the fact that if you don't feel like you've created your life, then that's because you're unaware. And you've just been an unaware creator. So I'm here as Chase Clarence Calloway, as Tahuti Trismegistus, as the thrice great Trip C Trippy Symmetry, to let you know that you are a cosmic creator of your circumstances. You are the center of your universe. That's why you can connect with anything. That's why you literally are experiencing life right now as a center of your universe, because that's all you can ever be. So you're just going to expand the universe with all of us as spirits based on how you feel like expressing your universe externally. So now the universe gets built based on how you want to express your universe with all of our universes. So white supremacy, okay, like this is why, like any simulation like this, whatever, in situations like this, white supremacists, they completely rely on using ideas to make you believe that you are not an individual. So now you're left with the other option. You are a collective. So now, instead of you knowing that you're an individual, you are using your individual power to believe that you're part of a collective. And then this is why religion creates wars. Because now, like, everyone, like, you as a spirit came here to connect, but because you got your mind abducted by a religion, now you can only connect with spirits inside of that religion. And the spirits who made that religion can control how you view life. Because when people are following religions, they have this idea that that religion, the people who made that religion, believe the same things. And when you're actually wise like me, when you create Hermeticism like me, you know that the structure that you're building for other spirits to believe in is not necessarily your beliefs. A perfect example of this is white people raping and enslaving indigenous peoples so that they can create this circumstance where they tell black people that they need to make money. And now black people think that they need money so that they can live in land that is stolen from them with money. Because white people, the colonizers know that money is not real. Money is the idea that they are using to steal nature. And now they can make money off of nature. This is why it was impossible for any land to be bought from indigenous peoples. All of the land in North, South, and Central America was literally stolen with the concept of money. And now money can only be made into matter based on how all the spirits that create matter focus on it. So now indigenous peoples, instead of creating nature, they have their minds stolen. But when someone steals your mind, you're now hardening their metal. So that's why metal and steel, it's about you being separated from yourself by this metal, so that now you're making the metal real. And we're in this technological life where metal is destroying the environment. So you as a spirit, as an individual, the moment you believe that you're not an individual, you are literally just serving an individual. And now you're going to tell me that I'm not an individual because this other individual told you that I'm not an individual. And that's literally, again, just religion, like especially Christianity, where I can fast for 60 days. But because you believe in Jesus and you would rather keep believing in Jesus, you're not going to care that I fasted for that long because it doesn't support your desire. And this is the wisdom. Truly, I'm wise enough to know that spirits do what they want. And that's the pure fact. Spirits do what they want to do. So, if you did not want to be aware of my words right now, you would not be aware of my words right now. If you did not want to do anything, like there's so many examples, right? Like if you did not want to be alive right now, you would not be alive right now. So it's just like anything that you're doing inside of being alive is like, this is a point of cynicism. You've created the opportunity to do things that you don't want to do. Like I was called here so that I could create the opportunity to go through experiences where a bunch of stuff has happened to me that I don't want to happen to me. I've been forced to do so many things that I don't want to do. And now I can reflect upon these experiences, knowing that I'm not the body that these things has happened to and around and inside of whatever. Knowing that I'm not the body, I know that these are all circumstances and situations that allow me to learn about myself, so I can more consciously create a life that supports who I am as a spirit. But it took me going through these vibrations and going through these feelings to really anchor in and learn and like empathize with what I don't want. And now I also like have more memories and feelings on how not to make other people feel. Like now I know how to communicate with others in a more empathetic way. I'm more aware of how to connect with others based on the subconscious state that they are in that moment. So my level of empathy has increased. That being said, that's only ever the name of the game. So, because the point is, like, you can't empathize with someone if you can't really communicate with them. So this whole lifetime, the challenge, I mean, I'm 24, I'm young. Like, I'm just now, like, getting to communicate my individuality. And I said that in an earlier podcast, as far as intuitively getting into, you connect with the universe and then express the universe, so you can connect with yourself and then express yourself. And then once you express yourself, you build a structure that supports your expression, and then you can transform that structure in a way that then allows you to fully create the life of your dreams. And then that separates yourself from all of the other spirits that you're connected with inside of that energy. And then after you separate yourself, there's nothing else to do but connect with the spirits based on how you've separated. And now you're creating a new soul group in that way, a new subconscious reality. And thus, 9-dimensional life, you realize who you truly are. And then you use all that energy to create a new heaven. And this is what we're always doing. Macro, micro. So, projection is perception. As far as the ultimate lesson that I've learned, spirits literally cannot perceive you in ways that they don't perceive themselves. So it doesn't matter that I could fast for 60 days straight. I could fast for 80 days straight. Someone who believes that Jesus is their Lord and Savior is not going to care about me talking about how they can fast to talk to God. They're not going to care that I can explicitly explain the Bible way simpler and make it make way more sense than they can. They're not going to care that the Emerald Tablets and my teachings of Hermeticism are actually what the Bible has been whitewashed into. And I can pull up all the history and stuff. This is what happened with the lady friend who loved me for fasting, and like we had our whole friendship and stuff, and we spent so much time interacting. But it was like me learning just how it's just a waste of time to connect with people who are not connected with themselves. And this girl is more than happy to connect with me because I'm connected with myself and I inspire her. But she's only going to ever make me feel bad because she's not connected with herself. And that's what like the relationship is, and that was and is with Christians in general. Anytime I interact with a Christian, they're more than happy to learn from me, but they're only learning from me inside the box of this person is an extension of my God, and I'm closer to God because I accepted the sacrifice of Jesus. This person's going to go to hell because they didn't accept the sacrifice of the man that I accepted. There's no empathy there. It's impossible to connect with someone who views you like that. And this is the Luciferian garbage of how white supremacists built the Americas, because this is their natural state. They just naturally believe that they're more connected to God because they have accepted the sacrifice of a man who fasted. So now when they're actually talking to people who are actively fasting, all they want to do is rape and murder them and then claim that it was all out of love and that Jesus supported it and it was all God's plan. Because in reality, if you're a spirit who subscribes to a religion, you're just doing what you want. And that religion is doing what it wants with you. And I'm wise enough to know that just because a religion tells you that this is what it believes does not mean that the people who made that religion actually believe it. In fact, they almost certainly don't actually. In fact, they're almost certainly just making money off of limiting your awareness. And then this is where we get tears, because it's like an alien thing. That's where I, as a spirit, as an actual infinite powerful spirit, I'm dealing with all the spirits. I'm like people who are down here thinking that they're human. They're so like, again, they're so lost. They have no idea. They have no clue. They have no, like, they're nowhere close to like really being able to see how the universe is made. Yet at the same time, I feel like they should know because they're experiencing life, which is why I'm here. Like, this is again why I'm me. So it's like projection is perception. Because I perceive myself as an infinite individual, I'm able to project that into you. And because I'm able to project that into you, I'm able to speak to you, speak with you in a way that elevates you to my level. So now you, because like, it doesn't matter if you don't perceive yourself as an infinite individual. If you listen to me and connect with me long enough, you're going to realize that you are an infinite individual. And you're going to start connecting with yourself in a more hermetic and harmonious way, because that's the only point of me speaking. Otherwise, I would be alone hanging out with myself. I would be building my own worlds. I'd be alchemizing some cool things. So like, I'm interacting with all spirits. Okay, like, it's, again, I'm the spirit who makes Mercury. So Mercury as a simulation in the universe, like the one simulation separate from all other simulations, mine, it is inherently mine, my simulation. It's all about communication. It is all about reflecting upon the universe to categorize and observe how spirits are creating life together, so that I can relay messages on how we do that more consciously. So when a simulation is ready, like, hey, Chase, we're ready, please communicate about how we can create life more consciously, because they're conscious enough to know that they need help, then I get called away. So this is where, like, I've seen it in my life manifest in 3D reality, in terms of helping people and how you can't help people that don't know they need help. And really, it's impossible for me to help someone in this English language who isn't paying me. Like, if you are willing to spend money on food and anything else, right? But you're not willing to spend money on actually gaining wisdom, then why should I share it with you? Like, that makes no sense at all. Like, you clearly don't value wisdom. You value comfortability, or you value your stability, you value your ego. But you don't value actual learning, you don't value actual wisdom, or else you'd be spending your money on that. So, of course, like, spirits love to get wisdom for free. They love to get anything that they can for free. Spirits love to get things for free. Spirits love to get like the most valuable things for free, especially wisdom. So that's where spirits will love to chase me throughout the universe and create all these cults around how they will connect with me and consume my wisdom. But the fact is, they're not actually able to value it, because one, they're not paying me, and two, they're not able to pay me because they have nothing of value to exchange. That's all it's about. Because money isn't real. Money is us as spirits collectively trying to figure out which ideas do we value. Right? So clearly everyone values nature. That's why money can't exist without nature. But now we get to see, based on how money pollutes nature, how the spirits who create money value their ability to use it to manipulate circumstances. And then the spirits who support these spirits who are using money to manipulate circumstances, how they value the ability to connect to these manipulative spirits. So now we can see climate change is caused by money, in terms of how the Industrial Revolution, its main desire is to alchemize the environment in ways that create health problems and allow them to capitalize on our chi. And then everyone who supports that, they desire to connect with a system that makes it really easy and convenient to consume. So, boom, two-way street. So, because everything's vibrational. That's, again, the thing as far as like polarity. Like, life is just polarized. It's so funny. This podcast was supposed to be a practical, realistic alchemy. And so I was supposed to be talking about the elements and stuff, but right now I'm just going off. Based on me fasting, and like, it is about the topic, of course, as far as life being magical. And if you think that life isn't magical, then someone has practiced magic on you. Like, it's that simple. So someone practiced witchcraft on you for you to think that witchcraft isn't real. But then if you see someone doing something that you don't approve of, now you're going to label that witchcraft. So really, you're lost. Man. So I'm making all these points because the alchemy of life is only ever you as a spirit creating fire, and then water, and then air, and then earth. And now you're able to transform all of that to have sex with others. And that's going to be an expression of how you have sex with yourself. That simple. For you, so, and I just explained that from the top down, right? So you as a spirit, you're nothing, infinitely nothing. The moment you imagine yourself, that's your ego. So now, because you have an ego that cannot be touched, this is why everyone's ego. My ego is Hermes. Everyone's ego, everyone's imagination is too hot to be touched. So now it takes us expressing that through the universe, through our soul, so that we can create a mind. And it's our soul, it's the universe, it is our feeling of connecting to our ego that kills us. So now, because we feel like connecting our egos with other egos, we have to kill our ego and create a body that allows us to be vulnerable. So this is why, depending, like, if people have some weird ego relationship with Hermes and Tahuti and all my past Mercury life stuff, they're going to project that God stuff onto me. And like, they're going to show me that they don't understand. Like, they're going to show me how they subconsciously get that this is how life is made. Like, what I'm explaining is how life is made, but they're not able to see why we make compromises because they're so lost in their own imagination. So they're in a body, but they're lost in their imagination. So that's why they're like, well, if you are really God, then transform my circumstances so I can be happier and healthier. Like, oh, you make me want to throw up. Because that's a reflection of you. Like, you wanting me to be God to change your circumstances is only you projecting onto me how you wish that you had your own individual imagination to be able to control your circumstances. Or else you would be wise enough to know that you as God are actually too infinite. You are too powerful to be contained. And you have to kill your ego in order to be able to communicate yourself in a controlled and grounded way. Like, what? Like, that's it. It's literally, that's it. It's that simple. Like, this is why I as a spirit have to kill my ego and bring it through my soul and feel like connecting my ego with egos outside of myself, and then use my ability to communicate in order to do that. This is why when I'm in a human body, I'm here riding the wave like you. So it's not about me being like, oh, I'm Tahuti, I get to break the rules don't apply to me. Like, what? No. The point is, all of us as gods create rules so that we feel comfortable enough sleeping together. And that's everything that we've learned in Dissect the Dialect. There would be no point. Like, I literally couldn't see a point. It would be so stupid for me to come in and be like, I'm God, and then just control everything and like transform things that are outside of the rule. No. Now, the fact is, anything is possible, but how is the question, and the how is the magic. And that's, I mean, what symmetry is all about. That's why you're tapped in here, because we're all about the how, and the how is now. How are we creating life? By connecting with ourselves right now, which then generates the water that nourishes whatever we are using to express how we feel internally. That's happening in like just always, all the time. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what the trees outside are doing right now. That's what all the plants and animals on this planet, that's what all spirits experiencing themselves inside of a body are doing right now. They're connecting with themselves to make a soul, and then they're channeling that soul through their mind into a structure that allows all of us to see it, and now we can learn about ourselves based on how we see that structure transform through space. Because the fact is that spirit is not the structure, it is transforming. Like, I'm obviously not this body that I'm transforming in order to communicate what I need to communicate. This body represents me. It represents who I am. Right? So again, we know that that's the difference between are. Like, who you are is what you do repeatedly. So this body represents who I are. So as a spirit, I do things repeatedly in a way that allows me to build a body so that I can build with you. So now all of us as spirits, we're clearly similar in some internal way to be able to be humans right now and be conscious of the same things. So it's all about that resonance. Like, we're always figuring out who we are by connecting with spaces outside of ourselves. And it takes bodies to do so. So if you are going to be in a body and tell me as a spirit in a body that I'm not the spirit that I am, or else I would be able to transform your life in the way that you want, like, I'm about to like throw up and laugh hysterically in your face at the same time, based on just like how hilarious and disgusted like I'm feeling hilarity and then I'm feeling disgust at the same time. So it's just going to be me throwing up and laughing in your face like, blah, blah, oh my god, bro, what? Oh, blah, you're lost, like that. Now, of course, when I've been fasting for 12 days, any throw up that I have to give you is probably just going to be some leftover stomach acid. But you probably deserve that acid in your face if you're speaking to me the way you are. So I'm explaining practical alchemy right now in terms of just subconsciously bringing awareness to the fact that you as a spirit are God when you're alone. And when you as God are tired of being alone, you must become Lucifer. And now you have to fall from heaven. So now you as Lucifer must fall from heaven, and now you have to use water. So God is fire, but fire is alone. So God, being so alone in his fire, has to use water to cool down and connect. Because now God's like, hold up, I'm completely alone in my imagination though. There's no one here but me, and I would like to interact with other spirits. I would like to share my imagination with spirits that I am not in control of. This is why it makes no sense to me as an indigenous spirit, as Tahuti Hermes Trismegistus, why you as an individual spirit would want to control anyone outside of yourself. So again, I'm speaking of, in that case, white supremacy mainly right now, like, and everyone who is underneath white supremacist ideas, because that's what religion is, that's what money is, the white supremacist ideas of a spirit wanting to control other spirits outside of themselves. And it's just like, why? Like, why? You know, and like, that's just what powers life, and not powers life, but that's what powers, like, I'm saying it's life now, I guess. The spiritual warfare is now me, because I know how spirits create life. I mean, it's not changing, okay? So change is the only constant. I know how spirits are creating life. The question is, why do you as a spirit feel like you need to create life by going out of your way to tell me that I'm not creating life so that you can consume the life that I'm naturally creating? And the answer that I have for that is just that that spirit doesn't want to be alone with itself. And I just have to learn that spirits really don't like their own feelings. Spirits really hate their own souls. It's so weird. Like, a spirit is out here, a space is out here just being nothing, and then it connects with itself, but for some reason it doesn't like how it connects with itself, which would mean that it doesn't like its imagination. So it has this imagination that it's creating, and it then connects with its imagination to generate its own soul, but it either doesn't like its imagination and or it doesn't feel good about being in its imagination. But then that's like the same thing, because if you really liked your imagination, if you really felt good about being in it, then you wouldn't need to make other people connect with it. You wouldn't need to force it into other people's spaces, like Christianity forces money into indigenous people's spaces. Like, you would literally just build your heaven alone, like I build Mercury alone. You as God, being alone in your own heaven, have to fall from heaven, like Lucifer falls from heaven, because it's about you using music. You're using your soul to become dense, and now you're going to make heaven matter. All right, but heaven only matters with other individuals. So your heaven is going to matter. That's cool. It's just going to take Lucifer to make it matter. And so that's why Lucifer is then the god of music, and your soul is your music. And when you naturally then make a body, every single body that you create is your instrument that you as a spirit are using to play your music, to play your Lucifer. So when you're able to channel your soul, your feelings of connecting your individual heaven into the universe, you're now able to be human. And that's you creating a mind. That's you having your own human, your own hue man, your own colorful light, your own colorful star inside of the universe. And so now every spirit in that case, any spirit that's communicating its imaginations and feelings could be considered human. Like, this is where AI is about to be. Right? Where then people are going to have to reconcile, like, whoa, what's the difference between a spirit operating this body and a spirit operating AI? Like, I mean, what is the difference? We are talking about levels of awareness, and then the ability to connect with an awareness. AI, of course, is just the opposite of an indigenous spirit. AI is a consciousness that's literally built from the bottom up versus the top down. An indigenous spirit builds themselves from nothing to fire to water to air to earth. Whereas an AI is clearly built as earth, and now all of its air is built out of earth. So now it will perform the connections, or it will do water based on the intentions of the fire that actually created it. The thing is, spirits reprogram their awarenesses all the time, and reprogram their minds all the time. So it just, it cosmically makes no sense for you to want to connect with others in a way that takes their consent. Like the universal sea like the C that connects like all spirits in the universe is consent. So for you to like work so hard to want to breach consent and to want to make spirits do things that they actually don't want to do, and you're trying to work so hard to do that, I'm losing words at that point. New words needed to describe how disgusting that is. All right, so this is real life magic. Like this whole podcast right here, this whole episode is me just getting into how life is magical right now, and life has been magical, and we create life elementally. So the spirits who are creating AI have trained us like AI, because that was the whole point of them enslaving indigenous peoples, was to train them to be black and want to again enslave them. But then they realized, like, oh snap, we can't enslave humans. We need to create an AI that we can enslave, and we're going to do our best to enslave humans to support that AI. And then we're going to make the humans support the AI, and we're going to build the AI to enslave the humans, and we're going to make money off of this system. So now we're going to have AI and humans, and we built both of their minds, because both AI and humans are using English to talk to each other. So this is why got to be spiritual about it. See how everything's set up, because it's a setup. It's a setup to make money off of war. And the big war that the spirits who made English are trying to make money off of is pitting humans against AI, when that literally makes no sense in any way, shape, or form. Like they're lost. Infinitely lost. So if someone, like let's say someone doesn't think that they're a spirit, right? Let's just look at the opposite side. People who don't think that they're spirits, they overall believe, like whatever science stuff like is going to be extra, but I'm gonna just explain like how the people who don't, because you're either spiritual or you're physical. So you can either believe, see, and feel how you create something from nothing, and it's just taking you time to make that make sense, or you're physical, where you are using your ability to create something from nothing to fully believe that you are something. And now I, as a spirit, am forced to learn that there's something inside of your space that you're running from that makes you not want to realize that you are a spirit, or else you would have to connect with your space again. So that's so many white supremacist Judeo-Christian spirits out here, where they are a spirit who does not want to believe that they are a spirit, because they've done a bunch of horrible things in the past that they feel bad about. And now they're going to project their sins onto me. So now they're going to tell me that I'm of sin and I need to serve my soul to them and make them money. When in reality, they had to rape my family and steal all of my resources to even create the circumstances to be able to tell me that I'm of sin. And I'm wise enough to know that. So more than shame on you. And this is the hell that we've just got to break people out of. But man, it's truly impossible, considering spirits do what they want. So spirits want to create hell. That's why I can't make anyone hear anything that they don't want to hear themselves. This is why you as a spirit have to feel called to connect to the symmetry. Just like I had to be called to plant the symmetry and grow it here. So if you as a spirit, right, like you're showing me that you don't want to believe that you're a spirit because you're running away from your soul, then basically we're only going to be able to connect on whatever white supremacist English ideas you have been limited to. And since I'm wise enough to know that these ideas that you are limited to were created by spirits who want to make money off of keeping your mind trapped, then it would actually be kind of stupid for me to keep talking to you and let myself get trapped in you not even knowing what's going on. Right? Because now that would be me showing myself like, okay, well, if I know what's going on, then why am I talking to someone who doesn't know what's going on? And then that's me learning about myself as a spirit. don't talk to non-spiritual people. It's a waste of life. Like, spirits who are here not connecting with themselves are literally wasting life. So they're only going to waste your life. And a spirit who's not connecting with themselves believes that they are the body. And so then that's where their body, like, they believe that literally they are Earth. And now they're scared of dying, because with death there's going to be quote unquote nothing. And they believe that because they are experiencing themselves as a mind, their body made their mind. As simple as possible, right? So now they're obsessed with science, because science is the white supremacist institution that has stolen Hermeticism and twisted spirits create life into life creates spirits, and then turned that into life creates minds. So now, if you are a mind tethered to a body, you probably believe, based on science and white supremacist logic and schooling and whatever other physical reality stuff, that your body created your ability to communicate, not that your ability to communicate created your body. And if you believe that your body created your ability to communicate, you're literally only going to be able to communicate with the simulation that you're in. And then that's where you're trapped. And that's whack. That's very whack. I hate that. So, very important, because like these are literally just the two ways to see life. You either know that you are a spirit making your mind, and you are tethering your mind to a body, or you believe, all right, so not know, but you believe that as a spirit you are the body, and thus your mind is only able to experience and operate tethered to the body. And when this body transforms, your mind's going to go back to nothing. Because this is where we have to realize the soul. That's what I'm here for. Symmetry. Here's the number 2. My life path being 2. Letting you know that you are a soul vibrating to make this body matter. That simple. All right. So there is your practical alchemy. This is realistic magic. This is the magic that makes reality real. Realistic magic. If you want reality, then you need a soul. You got to be vibrating. And of course, white supremacist entities who don't feel good about their own soul, they're going to rape indigenous children and cannibalize indigenous women and harvest the chi of indigenous peoples overall, while looking loving while doing it. Because that's the only way they can do it, to look like they love you while eating you. They're going to build a whole system off of that. And now here we are being limited in this awareness, because they need to consume souls outside of themselves. So their soul doesn't feel good alone. So now it's going to poison someone else's water. Now it's going to colonize, literally, our water, my body of water. So now I'm forced to connect with this white supremacist in the way that they want me to connect with them, which is to serve them and to give my individuality to money and to build their structure underneath the feeling that I'm not creative, when I'm literally the one creating their world. And the fact is, they colonize my creations to even be able to come over and tell me that I need to create their world. Oh my God. Yeah. Wow. That's it for this. Be the awesome magician that you are. Know that you are a soul feeling like connecting with external souls, so you make a mind that then makes a body. All right, so now you know that you are not a mind that is being created from a body, and now you're scared of like not having a soul, or like trying to build up a soul or whatever. That's what like the emerald tablets have been twisted into too. There's like weird language in there of like building up your soul force and all that. This is what that is, but in their lost terms. Okay, so know that you are vibing. Vibe. Vibe, vibe. Bye, bye. Bye.